Welcome to the subject Computer Fundamental. Today we shall begin with new chapter called as Processor and Memory. And we shall introduce ourselves to this chapter and draw the internal structure of the processor. So today's topic is processor and memory. Introduction. The main components of computer system are input, output, storage and central processing unit. So students, you have studied the block diagram. So there are 5 main components, that is input unit, output unit, storage unit and control unit and arithmetical logic unit. So this control unit and arithmetical logic unit together is called as central processing units. That is why you find here 4 components, because the control unit and arithmetical logic unit are put together and it is called as central processing unit. Point number 2. The storage units are of 2 types, primary and secondary. Point number 3. The CPU is also known as processor and primary storage is known as main memory or simply memory. So CPU, in simple terms, it is called as processor, and primary memory or main memory is also called as just memory. Now students, this is the basic architecture of processor and memory of a computer system. So in this diagram, basically you find 3 rectangles. Okay, one main rectangle which is big, which is in the central location, and other 2 rectangles which are vertical or towards left and right of main rectangle. The rectangle which is towards left is secondary storage devices, whereas rectangle towards right stands for I/O devices. So these secondary storage devices and I/O devices are connected to central processing unit through interfaces. So that is the connection. Interface means what? Connection. So the interface which is connecting secondary storage devices is called as storage interface, whereas interface which is connecting the I/O devices is called as I/O interface. Students, if you study this block diagram or this diagram, which I'll be sending as PDF file also, you can find the central processing unit which is in the central block consists of memory as well as towards left control unit and arithmetical logical unit, okay, which is towards right. Okay, so you can find this diagram and you can draw this diagram in your notebook. We'll take up central processing unit, that is CPU. Point number 1. CPU is the brain of computer system. So it is brain of computer system. That means whatever brain plays the role as far as human being is concerned, the same role is played by CPU. What does brain do in our case? Brain controls our body and sends signals to all our body parts how as to carry out various activities. Similarly, CPU is the brain. That means it controls all the parts of the computer system and gives them instruction about what to do and what not to do. It activates all the parts of the computer system. Point number 2. It performs all major calculations and comparisons and also activates and controls the operations of other units of the computer system. Students, CPU consists of 2 parts, arithmetical logical unit and control units. So this arithmetic logic unit carries out calculations and comparisons, and control unit controls and activates all the parts of the computer system. Point number 3. performance of computer majorly depends on the performance of CPU. Students, CPU is the major component of computer system which decides how good is the computer system, because we use computer as a processing device. So that is why processor should be very strong and it should be latest. Point number 4. It is important to know the internal structure of the CPU, to know its functioning and to understand how one CPU differs from other. Students, it is very important to study the internal structure of the CPU because that is the main component, okay, and also will know how one CPU of one computer system differs from CPU of other computer system. This will know only when we study the detailed architecture. Now we will study the main components from the architecture of computer system are control unit, arithmetical logical unit, instruction set and registers. Okay, so these are main components of CPU. One is control unit, another is arithmetical logical unit, and third is instruction set and fourth is register. Today we will stop here. You please write down the diagram, draw the diagram and write down all this. More about this we will take up in the next class. Thank you.